Alright, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and in this video today I'm going to be treating you guys with one of my favorite video games of all time at this point. It is a mil-sim, large-scale warfare, team-based tactical shooter, and I cannot recommend it more enough to anyone who enjoys any sort of Battlefield or even more realistic type of warfare combat game. This game is called Squad, and it is so much fun, and I cannot recommend it enough. So go ahead, grab your popcorn, grab a snack, make sure you drink your water and stay hydrated. And we're going to go ahead and get into this video. It's going to be a bit of a longer one, so make sure you're ready to go. Let's go ahead and get right into it. So I guess the first thing I will actually say about Squad is this game isn't necessarily for everyone. This game is definitely a lot more realistic. Time to kills are very quick. Headshots are one-shot headshots. There's a lot of ways to die really easily. However, if you're willing to put in the time and get past that initial learning curve that you're going to inevitably run into getting onto the game, I can guarantee you that you will have so much fun with this game, and it'll only get exponentially more fun to play the more time you put into it. With that in time, let's go ahead and discuss the gameplay of this game and a bunch of different gameplay routes you can decide to take. Squad is mainly based off being an infantryman in an infantry squad, going through and capturing objectives from another team. The whole combat is broken down into specific weapons and class roles such as medic, marksman, heavy machine guns, light anti-tank, heavy anti-tank, combat engineer roles within each squad. Roles are limited to one person, so you can't have, 4 specialties running, but you can have 1 or 2, and you can have your medics and things like that. And then with a squad size of 9, you have to pick and choose how you want your squad to play based on, if you're running on a more vehicle dense map or a more infantry dense map. And you can really adjust if you want more anti-tank capabilities or if you want better marksman roles or vice versa. And most importantly, it forces you to work as a team and to coordinate as a team, which is a point that we'll probably discuss at least 8 or 9 times throughout this video. Speaking of teamwork, the next main section of this video, which is actually a fairly large section, is talking just about teamwork and squad and how they are baked together. So Squad, unlike games like Battlefield 2042, Call of Duty, and even Halo to an extent, is designed specifically around teamwork. And I do mean it when I say this, but a squad that works and stays together will win every single encounter that they run into. The whole idea of communication and squad work is also reinforced in the game design, where each squad has a squad leader who acts as the guy who's in charge of the squad, and they have the role of being able to claim vehicles, build bases and fortifications for those bases, and most importantly, they're able to communicate with other squad leaders via direct comm or command chat. And this allows all the squads in the game to communicate and coordinate with each other to come up with strategies and different ways to come at the maps. Again, I do have to reinforce this point that a good squad leader can really make or break a squad synergy and the overall vibe that your squad is going on. Another way that Squad forces you to work as a team is the additions of a local chat, which is a proximity-based chat that you've seen in most games, like some Battle Royales and some multiplayer games. There's also a squad chat, which is just for your squad, the 9 people in your team, and also a command chat, which is just for the leaders of those teams. So it really forces you to be vocal when communicating enemy positions, coming up with different strategies that are quintessential for this game. And local channels are not only great for gameplay purposes, but they also lead to some of the most genuinely hilarious moments that I've had in gaming. And if you talk to anyone who plays Squad, or if you even queue into a game, some of the pre-game areas where everyone's just sitting around in lodges has some of the most funny moments that you'll ever run into, and that is something I do stand by. If you want a good laugh, hop in a lobby and sit in a lodgy, and you'll hear some insane conversations. Another way that teamwork is again reinforced is an important part of communicating in squad is through the map. And squad leaders, as well as the fire team leaders, which the squad leader can assign, can go ahead and mark move marks, enemy locations, vehicles, things to reinforce, things to build, and all that information goes together on one giant map that everyone in the game can look at, which, if your squad's doing a great job of communicating and effectively communicating that information to other squads, the more effective your overall team is at winning the game. Go ahead and wrap up the whole teamwork and communication part of this video. I just want to say, if you come into squad not wanting to communicate, you are not going to have a great time. If you are open to communicating with people, everyone is usually pretty friendly. There are one or two bad apples, like there is in every video game. But for the most part, everyone is very friendly and willing to help. And I cannot emphasize this enough. Please communicate. It helps everyone, including the squad leads. Now we're going to go ahead and take a deep dive into the overall gameplay and mechanics that this game has. Squad being a milsim takes a lot of inspiration from real-life weapons and things like that, such as realistic amount of recoil, realistic bullet velocity, and having fall off. Time to kill is also very hyper realistic with one-shot headshots and usually around 3 to 4 bullets to kill. There's also a bleeding and health-based system where medics are able to heal and revive faster, and you are also able to heal, but it does take a little bit longer. Rocket launchers have backblast, so if you stand behind, a rocket launcher and somebody fires, you're going to get killed from that. And there's a lot of realism to the game, and there's so much nice attention to detail that does not go unnoticed. Another real important part to mention, along with weapons and vehicles and all that stuff being very realistic, they don't go over realism where you have guns jamming and weapon decay or needing to clean your rifle or something like that. It keeps it very simple and keeps the gameplay very refined without it being overly complicated and overwhelming for someone new coming into the game. It's very point and click type shooty, but there's also mechanics such as leaning, mantling, and stuff like that. Now we're going to go ahead and touch on vehicles a little bit. I'm not going to go so in depth with the vehicles just because that would require its own personal video, and a lot of people who are new probably shouldn't be jumping straight into vehicles. But the vehicle systems are also incredibly realistic. There's armor, and you have to learn where armor is on certain vehicles, so that way if you're in a tank fighting another tank, you're not shooting at their most heavily armored position, having your shots ricochet. It also goes with the same with wheeled APCs. There's weak points on those, and you can shoot at tires and tires will pop, or you can destroy tank tracks. And it goes the same with Logis as well, where your logistics vehicles can have their engines destroyed, tires popped, and they have very thin armor, so they're easier to kill. And there's a whole vehicle hierarchy, like a little vehicle pyramid, and there's a lot to learn with the vehicles, but I would definitely recommend getting into vehicles a little later on in squad. Learning infantry is definitely the most fun at first. And there is a really nice skill gap between good vehicle users and bad ones, and having good vehicle users on your team can really make a difference between your squad having vehicle cover or getting completely rolled by enemy armor. Along with vehicles being a very important, crucial part of the game, the same thing can be said about helicopters. A good helicopter pilot can seriously turn games around. However, helicopters are very, very difficult to use and require tons and tons of time and practice to truly master the physics that the helicopters have on them. And your helicopter blades are also very realistic and fragile, so you have to be very, very careful about where you land, but it is very rewarding when you have a very good helicopter pilot on your team. If you're looking to get into helicopters, take time to learn infantry, work with a helicopter squad, and you'll probably get set up straight. I know I'm kind of jumping back to the gunplay here, but the gunplay is going to be broken down into two parts. One is movement and the other is aim. The amount that you're able to sprint and the amount that you're able to have stabilized shooting is totally dependent on a stamina bar that you have at the bottom of your screen, and those who are able to manage their stamina bar properly while going over a hillside or walking through an urban environment can really minimize the amount of gun sway that they have, and having good stamina is able to get you out of situations like being stuck in the middle of the road or getting to cover that you need to get to. Overall, the gunplay for me feels really good and is a serious challenge to learn at first, especially since there's so many guns for different factions that you have to learn. And as you put more time into the game, the overall bullet velocity and recoil and things like that starts to make a lot more sense, and there's a lot of great resources and tools out there to help you get better at aiming. And I really encourage all of you to really give infantry a good run and give it a good shake, because once you do start to learn how to shoot and aim and work as a team, it becomes so much more fun. I also really appreciate how the game manages to strike a great balance between realism and fun. It's very difficult to strike a balance between having a game be a proper milsim and then having a game be more like a Battlefield or Call of Duty. And I think this game does a great job of striking a balance between the hyper realism Arma games and the overly casualized Battlefield games. I think it hits that perfect medium that I've been wanting for years, and honestly, it makes me happy to have a game like this. Another grossly underrated part about this game is that this game is completely objective focused. You could go out and get 50 kills in a game, and if you lose, it really doesn't matter all that much. The game forces you into having an offensive and defensive strategy for whatever point that you're attacking, and it has the infrastructure there to make defending as much fun as offenses. You can build up defenses, you can build mortar tubes, you can build a TOW missile, you can have AA guns if you're on the insurgents. There are so many different ways you can play offense and defense, and there's so many matches that you can play on the same map, but you can have completely different experiences every time. And that's something that is so underrated in modern gaming, and it's something that I have fallen in love with, and that is why I've put so many hours into this game. However, as much as I do love this game, there are some noticeable flaws with it. With this game having such a fast time to kill, ping is a really dire thing to have in this game. If you have really high ping, it's going to be kind of miserable learning how to shoot your gun, especially since bullets will be registering late. If you have really great ping, this game's a lot of fun, but if your ping is all over the place, you're going to have a unfun time for a little bit. Along with things that I don't really enjoy, if you are playing with a team that is not good at communicating and your overall squad doesn't have a strategy, this game can feel like an absolute walking simulator and can be also very unfun. Because the game focuses so much on communication and strategizing with people on your team, if you have a squad of people who aren't communicating, you are going to be at a disadvantage to any squad that has even the littlest amount of communication. Along with that, squad leaders who do not lead a squad well can leave your squad absolutely scattered and in shambles. I cannot emphasize enough how having good leadership in this game makes the game so much more fun. Personally for me though, this game still has significantly more highs than lows, but there are still lows to be noted. Another quick point I want to go ahead and touch on here is map and faction variety. Squad has a huge plethora of maps ranging from snowy Arctic forest to a mountaintop desert and urban environments, as well as large forests. Sheer variety and set pieces and sizes of these environments lead to incredibly diverse combat engagements map to map, and this has never left me feeling stale of the game. The game also has a large amount of factions currently. There are 7 factions that all have different skins, weapons, vehicles, death quips. And let me tell you, that thing is so underrated. There are so many different ways to play each faction, and then when you're switching from faction to faction, there's so many things to master in each faction. While things may feel the same, they may not particularly have the same quirks and things like that. And that leads to so much replay value, and it makes things so much fun. With the game having a good amount of factions and map varieties, it really makes the game feel very difficult to actually be stale and to run out of content. The last main point I really want to touch on is the overall community of Squad. Squad, uniquely from most other games, only has a server browser instead of dedicated playlist selections like other games. And that is a unfortunate flaw, and I wish there was 1 to 2 official Squad servers. However, even with the lack of official playlists and servers, there are hundreds of other server options to choose from. There's modded servers, unmodded servers, and me and my friends personally mained about 5 to 6 different servers that we play on consistently. With that, you develop a sense of community within the servers. When you play a lot, you end up running into a lot of familiar faces and familiar people. Most people in the Squad community are totally respectful, and it makes being in a regular server very rewarding in a lot of ways. The community that Squad curated with the server browser is truly outstanding, and it makes playing the game, even solo, a lot of fun. I'm going to go ahead and speak about 2 little flaws about Squad real quick. One is, unfortunately, there is no sort of story with it, and I think that is a minor missed opportunity. I think a little bit of a story that could be told with Squad would be pretty cool, not gonna lie. I know it's not something that the game is really trying to be, but I think maybe a little wiki on what kind of the situation between these factions would be pretty cool, and I think that's something that's a little missed in my opinion, but honestly it's not holding the game back at all. It's just something I think that would be pretty cool. The other thing is going to be a complete lack of progression and any sort of leveling system. I think even just a way to have like a lifetime level, just like a 1 to 1,000, or you could do like a general system from Call of Duty. You don't even really have to have anything tied to progression. Just like, oh, this is something that's there, that's cool, that I think is cool, that is there because I've been putting so much time in. And then I also think there should be a way to look at stats in game. The only way you can really look at stats is outside of the game, which is a little unfortunate, but honestly, it's not really a big problem for me. Also, give us the United States Marine Corps. But yeah, that's all I've really got today for this video. If you did enjoy, make sure you like, subscribe, and if you are interested in squad and you have any questions for me, just go ahead and leave it down in the comment section down below. And if I can't answer, I can definitely find a video online that can answer for you. I would really recommend this game if you enjoy military roleplay or anything like that. This game's really fun, and the community out there is really welcoming, and they're always willing to help you out. But with all that in mind, that's all I got for this video. Stay hydrated. We'll see you in the next video. Peace out, boys.